We come on here every Thursday to give you a little bit of something. Um, a little bit of something. And my eyebrows, Lord Jesus. But here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. So last week we talked about last week I was actually frolicking for the holiday and needed some rest. So I decided not to turn the camera on and went on about my business. But the week prior to that, we talked about the Big Top Circus. My cousin Gina, yeah, I know you like that. We had a sidebar conversation about that, and I won't call out no other people's names, but like I told you, if you want to drop me a comment or something afterwards, feel free to do so after, these videos. But we talked about, coming out of the big tent. You don't have to be in there. It smells, it stink in there. The clowns are just clowning around. And, it's just so much going on. And, you got the guys on the stilts and they just, doing all this other kind of stuff. And, you don't have to be a part of the circus. And it could be in relationships, it could be in friendships, it could even be part of the job. If you know this job ain't serving you, or it's time for you to move on in a certain business endeavor or something, you don't have to be there. Like, you can create your own life to do whatever it is that you want. So the Big Top Circus can be just whatever isn't serving you. So, we talked about the ringmaster. I told you I had a professional. He just, I know he went to, the school for masters, because he really mastered that thing. And I know he graduated, cum laude as well. It's just, it was just, valedictorian, whatever it is, just highest level. I'm sure that, he was granted that. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is that, oh yeah, it was, his shows was always spectacular. That's an inside joke, but anyhow, when you part of the ringmasters plan and you didn't sign up for it, you don't have to stay. You notice this thing is a big circus, and we know what circuses are. And if you didn't, we have lived the last 4 years with a ringmaster of a clown in the White House. But we won't talk about that. But we're talking about just things that's around you when you're in a situation that's not feeding you, that is not benefiting you. And ultimately, you're in a place where you're just not happy, and you are not yourself, and you are probably thinking like, man, why is this? Or I shouldn't be here. I deserve more. I deserve better. It's in those times where you are in, you're in the stands, I guess, if you will, in the circus, and you're like, this is a circus. This is some pure foolishness. And I'm not going to be a part of this. I don't want this for my life. And that's when you have activated self-love. That is when you have activated a peace within that nobody can take away from you. That is when you stand in your power to say, this ain't me. This ain't serving me. I'm out of here. You open up the flap of the big top and say, I'm done. I don't care, that I bought standard seats, and when I got there, you put me in the VIP, because that's what happens. You just like happen to come up on something, and it turns out to be that it's not what you want. So what I'm saying is, self-love helps us to get out of situations that are not serving us, helps us to get out of things that just are bothersome and just doesn't sit well in our spirit. If you are just feeling like, you're drained, when you're in these situations, you find yourself sleeping, more, and you find yourself not going out of the house, or you find yourself not being as active as you were before. In my case, I found myself eating a lot, eating my thoughts, just constant thoughts, and you're just feeding them chips, popcorn, cookies, cakes, all of that, just food, just feeding them. And when you are in those places, it's best to take a step back and just say, you know what, this is not right. And sometimes we don't recognize it, right? We don't know that that's what we're doing until you can't fit in your clothes, or you recognize, like, man, I didn't know so and so was going through something, or when did that happen? You know how time just goes by so fast, and you don't know or recognize that something, or something has happened, or people are doing certain things because you've not been around. And it's because you may be in a situation that's not serving you, and you can get out. Pay attention to those who love you and what they're saying. Just because they don't like your man, it ain't just because they don't like them. They don't like them for you. It's not because you're constantly staying late at work and people are saying, why are you doing that? They're not jealous, because you making X amount of money. They see the wear and tear of you on your, see the wear and tear on your body. So those who love you, who you trust, and with their feedback, and you trust with their, their words and their opinions, listen to what they're saying to you, or the comments that they make, the questions that they may be asking you, because, a lot of times when we're in the circus, we are not, we're vulnerable, and we're not really ready to hear some hard truths, even though our people and friends around us can see it. And they may be asking you some questions, maybe probing a little bit, but it's more about bringing some awareness, to your situation. So with that said, and I'm going to knock over this doggone laptop. With that said, it's just like, so you don't have to be, in the circus. You don't have to stay until the show is over with. I was not going to stay to see how many more clowns was going to come out of the little buggy, the little skate of a car. I wasn't going to do that. I was not going to see, the ringmaster close the show. I closed the show. I actually walked out of the tent and closed the flap of the tent, and y'all stay in there and finish doing what you're doing, clowning around, because I'm out of here. And then when you get out the tent, you looking like, why was I even in the tent? Y'all, and no offense, because I love, our black brothers and sisters doing things, but why am I sitting in something that can pick up and go anyway? Okay? Why am I sitting in something where it ain't in a stadium or an arena or something? Y'all pitch a tent and put all this stuff in here. I'm sitting on hard bleachers and all this other madness. And it's a show for sure. The animals, okay, I ain't gonna get into that, but the animals don't even look like, they looking like malnourished a little bit. You gotta look at where you were, and just say, I'm better than that. No. If it, and then when you start to love yourself, you start to create boundaries, and you start to create what your expectations are and your standards, and so now it's like, if it's not at an arena, a place that you can't pick up and go, I ain't attending that. You know what I'm saying? And this is just an example, because we've been talking about the big tent. And that's when you start to love yourself, because it's like nobody can tell you anything at that point in time. Like, I ain't doing it, and you start to put yourself first. It doesn't matter, how long, the tent is going to be there. It doesn't matter if they got a $5 discount on tickets. And, it just does, none of that stuff really matters. What matters is what's in your spirit, what's in your heart, how it makes you feel. And, if the show is for you, and if it isn't, then let those masters do whatever that they do somewhere else. Let somebody else be entertained. Let them, because they be juking and jacking in there, whatever. But if that's not your party, if that's not your choice of a circus, then don't stay in it. Don't stay in it. I don't care, where they've come from, because, and this is not to talk about the, Universal Soul Circus, because I've been several times, you know what I'm saying, and I've had fun there, but I'm just using it because Universal Soul Circus, your soul, and people just clowning around, I'm using it in that respect. But the circus, they talk about how, they got all of these people that's national, that's a part of this, and then you look at your own situations and just to say, like, hey, okay, they may have this person from, India, Australia, or whatever. How does it benefit me? Sometimes we get into a thing and get veered off because of, yeah, they from, Australia. Yeah, they're from China. Okay, so what does that mean for me? What value does it bring for me? So we have to ask ourselves those questions. Asking those questions, for ourselves, and sitting and pondering and getting the answers that we need. And we have to be real with accepting what the real answer is. That's where we are, these days. We've been through some challenges within the last 14 months. And, I don't know how anyone could not value time at this point in time, from the time that we've had over the last 14 months. We've had a clown, we've had a real life circus that we've seen, and have lived more than just a year, but definitely in the last, year on leadership. And so I implore you to, to take a look at, things that are not sitting well for you, and just see, and sit and say, like, how long am I going to sit on these bleachers, and it's cold in here, and it smells in here, and, if the elephant sneeze, I probably get, splashed on, how many times am I going to come to this circus and see the same thing over and over? Oh, I think I remember them from last time. Well, wait a minute. How long you going to sit in the circus? So listen, I think you get the gist of it. I'm over my time. And time went by fast, and y'all sat up here with me and saw me comb my hair, get myself together. But stay out of the big top. Start loving yourself big time. And, when necessary, top it off with just love, and just say, hey, you know what? This ain't working for me, but I wish you well. And then go and figure out how you got in that situation in the first place, and figure out what you need to do to not get in the big tent, the big top again. Choose better, choose wisely. And if your ex looks like the next man, you're not healed. So we'll maybe go into that a little bit more, about healing, what that looks like, what it feels like. But I first need you to recognize that you're in something that is not serving you before we can even talk about healing. So, somebody ain't treating you right, your job is not fulfilling your needs, a business decision is not working for you, sit down and think about, how you gonna fire, this the ringmaster, and start living your life and let your soul glow, because you don't have to stay under the tent. Talk to you later.